Dios dem chanyabo in halaim inepo Robert Valencia tea into Funiber tea. I am a 2024 Tribal Council candidate, and I'm back with another video. Today's topic: who has oversight over the Pascua Yaqui Tribal Council? So we'll be taking a look at the Pascua Yaqui Tribal Code, specifically the section dealing with government and administration. We'll be looking at the Pascua Yaqui Tribal Council Code of Ethics, as well as oversight committees. This video is meant for any Pascua Yaqui tribal member. So please feel free to share this video with anybody who is voting for this year's election, as well as any candidates that are running. Education is empowering, and the more we know, the more we can all grow together. So once again, I sourced all of this information from the official Pascua Yaqui Tribe of Arizona webpage. So all I did was go to the site. I went to the search button there on the upper right hand corner, and I put in tribal code. So let's begin with the Code of Ethics. Section 10 establishes a purpose of why these Code of Ethics are there in the first place. And basically, what it says is that we, the people, have entrusted every council member that's elected into office with the power to make laws on our behalf. And as such, they have to hold themselves to a certain standard. Later on, we'll see what those standards are. And by later, I mean now. So, Section 20 of these Code of Ethics outlines how tribal council members should behave. In essence, it's saying that tribal council members should have integrity and always do the right thing, even when no one is looking. Make sure that they are impartial, meaning that they're not showing favoritism to anybody, and make sure that they put the interest of the tribe, which would be all of us, before their own personal interests when they're acting in this role and in this duty. Section 50 is going to define for us what the improper conduct is. Anything from abuse of power to misuse of tribal funds to intoxication while on the job. So take a look. Section 60 outlines the steps to investigate a tribal council member, and Section 70 outlines how that final determination is going to be played out. For Section 80, just know that any recognized Native American tribe in the United States has sovereign immunity. That means that they cannot be sued. This is going to include tribal council members whose duty is to act on behalf of the tribe. But if a council member is found to have violated anything in this code, they can be sued. And now we get to the section of the code that deals with tribal council oversight. So you can see here from the legislative history, it was adopted in 2008, changed in 2009, and also in 2017. These changes are made by resolution and ordinances. Basically, someone writes up a resolution, and if they get enough council members to vote on it and vote yes, then it becomes amended and adopted. The purpose is set forth right here. Basically, this is going to help tribal council fulfilling its obligations under the Constitution. So they form these committees, and each committee is going to have a committee chair. And the committee is going to work with each division, which is providing services to the tribe. So that could be public safety, education, language and culture. And they they're going to establish some way of communication and working together so that we, the people, are receiving the best services possible. Section 30 defines what an oversight committee is. Basically, it's made up of only tribal council members, and they work with division directors to look at the program in its entirety. There's also definitions for special committee and ad hoc committee, but we will not go into those. But I put them up there just for you to see. If you want to look at them, go visit the tribal code on the tribal website. Section 40 is going to deal with what powers the tribal council oversight has. So before we continue any further, was this was this always here? Okay, I digress. Part B of Section 40 is going to lay out the requirements that each oversight committee has to do. So, Part 1 there says that they have to act in an advisory capacity to tribal council. So, you have an oversight that's made up of tribal council members while they report back to council when they're in session as a whole group. They also have to give monthly reports to the tribal council on its work. And then on 12 there, you see I have, it says, where can we see 12 in action? Folks, I am not talking about Tom Brady. He is retired. We're talking about oversight committees providing quarterly reports to the tribal membership on what the committee has been doing. In Section 50, the tribal council as a whole shall approve bylaws that govern how those oversight committees, how they conduct their business. Section 60 of the code outlines the responsibilities of each oversight committee. In essence, each committee has to assist tribal council in judging whether the existing legislation that's intact is effective for the programs, and if not, it outlines what those conditions are to change the legislation or to add more legislation so that they can help each division running programs. So, how are these committees formed? Well, basically, the chairperson of the tribe is able to appoint each committee member and each committee chair to certain committees. There can be 5 to 7 members of each committee, consisting of tribal council members. If a council member objects to any appointments made, well, they go into the ring and they duke it out. Just plain, just trying to see if you're still paying attention. What happens is it goes to a majority vote of tribal council. The committee chairperson basically runs each committee meeting. One last note, removal process is also outlined as well. If you really want to take a look at it, and this is not enough time to look at it, look up the tribal code. If there's a matter involving a committee member's immediate family, then that committee member has to declare that to the committee and kind of step out of the way. So this section 100 goes on to define that immediate family relationship. Compas and comais are not included on this. What's also outlined in section 110 is going to be the duration or the frequency at which a committee meets. Basically, each committee shall meet on a monthly basis. And the time and date of the meetings are determined by who? The committee chairperson. The subsequent sections in subchapter D are really boring. Find out for yourself. Go look at the code. And if you disagree, come back here and we can debate on that. Also, subchapter E, section 200, boring. Let's imagine that there's a Native American tribe out there who has figured out a great solution for housing. Not only that, they've been producing vibrant communities for their constituency. Well, members of our committees here, they have licensure to go out there and visit and find out what's going on and bring them back over here to be inspired to have help our constituency. That's part A of section 210. Part B deals with the reporting of the committee's activities. So, on a quarterly basis, that means every 3 months they have to report to tribal council both a written report and a presentation on the activities of the committee. Where have we heard or seen that before? That's right. So, the committees also have to present to us, the public, the constituency, the voters. Section 220 deals with committee records, including the fact that all committee business has to be recorded. So, moving on to subchapter F, these outline the responsibilities of each division within the Pascua Yaqui tribe. And then subchapter G outlines those investigative hearings. What's the procedure for those? So, again, for any of these things, if you're interested, go to the tribal website and look up the code. Back to the video title. Who has oversight over Pascua Yaqui Tribal Council? Well, in order to look at that, let's go back and look at how the wheels of our government play out. We vote for 11 council members. Whoever gets the highest 11 votes during this election cycle, well, they are sworn in as council members. Then, amongst themselves, a chairperson is selected and sworn in. So, once that happens, that chairperson is going to appoint or pick who's going to lead each committee and who is going to be in each committee. And then once that is done, the committee is going to work with each division and they are going to report to the voting public on a quarterly basis. They're going to report to the chairperson, the actual tribal chairman or chairwoman, and then they're going to report to tribal council as well. So during this campaign season, just remember that Any campaign promises that are made to overhaul or to fix things that divisions are providing for us, well, the most direct line to that is going to be through a committee. So either as a chairperson or as a member, that's going to be the most direct line to make those changes. When my daughter was like 5, a legitimate question she would always ask would be, "What happens if I don't?" So, what happens if a committee doesn't really work to report to the tribal council, or they don't report to the public or to the chairperson? What happens? Well, seriously, if you find the solution to that, please let us know. Please comment on this as well. And there's levels to this, right? So just ask yourself, what types of leaders are we selecting? What is their leadership style? How in depth are the committee reports? Is it just a general outline of what's going on? Oh yeah, we have X, Y, and Z event coming up. Our division is doing great things. Look to see what they're going to do shortly. That was an example. So if a report is actually given like that over the course of 3 months, then someone's not doing their job. In my next video, we'll be looking at the tribal constitution. What changes? What does it take to make changes on there? And also looking at the history of our constitution as well. I've seen and heard some advocacy about term limits and about direct elect for a tribal chairperson and a vice chair. So, what does it take to do that? Well, tune in and find out.